Alright, hey guys, I'm excited because I'm going to be sharing things that I've learned along my weight loss journey. Now, I am not where I want to be, but so far I have been able to lose about 50 pounds and keep it, 50 pounds total, and I've been able to keep 30 of those off. For like years, for an extended period of time. If anybody, as you guys know, if you've been on this journey, you know that it's hard, one, to lose the weight, and two, to keep it off. So I made it my business, after spending years of going back and forth of losing the weight and putting it back on, losing it, and putting it back on, and trying all these different diets and trying all these different tactics. I finally found something that works. So as I'm talking to you guys, I am preparing my tea bags because one of the things that I found works for me is preparing my tea ahead of time. I like my tea iced. I don't really like it hot. That's something that I had to learn about myself because, we're taught, especially in the Caribbean, to do hot tea, but I've realized that because, I don't know if it's because I'm a fire sign, but I really don't prefer hot drinks. So, and icing it is better. And then I put like lemon and stuff in it, and I pre-prep everything. That's gonna be key. Pre-prepping your food and your drink. So I'm gonna be preparing that while I talk to you guys. And I've also written down notes. So if you see me like looking over on the side, it's because I'm trying to look at my phone and remember what it was that I wanted to talk to you guys about. So let's get into the first thing I learned on my weight loss journey, and that is that it's possible to lose weight by just changing your diet. Diet, I would say, from experience, is 90% of the battle. It's 90% of being able to keep the weight off and being able to lose it in the first place. And so let's talk a little bit about diet and what that's going to look like. And if for anybody that's wondering what's inside of the tea bags, it's Damiana dry leaf and raspberry hibiscus dry leaf. And the reason that I prefer these to these is because one of the issues that I have is my periods are, look at that, that's how natural this is. There's a whole stick in here. Is that a stick? There's a whole nail in here. Oh my God, are you serious? I really hope they didn't like put that in there to make the weight more. That's crazy. I'm definitely gonna have to, this is my first time buying from this company. I'm definitely going to have to write that in the review. But anyway, that is a whole rusty ass nail in my leaf. That's crazy. Anyway, the reason that I chose this particular blend is because, long story short, it helps me with my periods. It helps with the cramping. It helps with how heavy they are, with the clotting, with all of that kind of stuff that tends to go wrong with our with that time of the month. Like when I'm on this, my periods are 10 times lighter. Sometimes it doesn't even come. And I'm just like overall healthier when it comes to my reproductive health. So that's why I chose this blend. So let's get back to diet. So perfecting your diet. Now let's talk a little bit about fads and, all these different keto diet and the Mediterranean diet and intermittent fasting and all of this other kind of stuff. I've tried it all. And what I've come to realize is it all has its place. And the key is not which diet to choose. It's more so, I think that's dried raspberry. This smells amazing, by the way. Um, it's not so much what diet you choose. The key is consistency. So whatever it is that you choose, be consistent with it. I have found that kind of being on a vegan diet and eating the same thing every day, like meal prepping, like I talked about earlier. Meal prepping is going to be the key, and the easiest way I found to meal prep is to just have like one um menu per se, like one thing that you like to eat for breakfast, one thing that you like to eat for lunch, certain snacks, and then your dinner. Like have that already planned out, and that's what you're going to eat every day. Now, does that get boring? Yes, it does. But is it bad for your health? No, it is not. It's actually easier on your body because your body gets used to that type of food, so it's going to break it down a lot faster, and it takes the stress off of you. Because if you're anything like me, you're one of those people that will spend hours looking at different meal preps and different recipes and wanting to try this and wanting to try that, and then you go to the store, you spend hundreds of dollars on all of this crap, and you try all these different recipes, and some of them you like, some of them you don't like, and it's just a never-ending cycle of stress, and like it's just more stressful, and that's what adds to like not being able to keep the weight off and not being able to be consistent. So the easiest way to keep that consistency is going to be to um, just keep it simple. And yeah, it's going to be boring, but if you have a goal in mind, like let's say you want to lose a certain amount of weight, like for me, I have 30 more pounds that I want to lose. If I commit 3 months tops, 4 months tops, to eating the same thing every day and really like making sure that my meals are planned out perfectly, like the tea is, I'm mindful about the type of tea that I'm making, I'm mindful about everything that I'm eating, um, I would be able to lose that 30 pounds in no time. So that is my current goal. I'm going to, I have like certain things that I know that I like to eat for breakfast. And so, same thing for breakfast every day, same thing for lunch every day, same thing for dinner every day. I'm thinking about whether or not I'm going to do dinner because I'm also going to be incorporating the intermittent fasting. So, I kind of, and another thing, I think that might be one of the things on the list. Let me just go with the list. All right, so number 2, don't force yourself to go to the gym. If you don't want to go, consider another way to exercise. Okay, that is a big one. That was a big one for me. I hate the gym. Like, I had to admit that to myself. I really do not enjoy going to the gym. And I think it's because of the energy that's there. Like, if you really think about it on like a metaphysical, spiritual level, people are at the gym exercising their demons. That's why they call it exercise. So there's all kinds of energy, all kinds of stuff floating around in the gym. And usually people go there to exercise their aggression and their anger. And that's fine, but for sensitive people like me, if you're not protecting yourself against that kind of stuff, it can be a really draining experience. And I think that's what was happening to me. So, I don't like going to the gym for that reason. So, I had to find like alternate ways to work out. Like, what do I enjoy doing? I enjoy going to the park for walks. I enjoy kayaking. I enjoy being outdoors mostly. I don't like indoor working out. I don't like lifting weights. I don't like being on the treadmill. There are just certain things that I just realized that I don't like. And by forcing myself to do that, it just makes what's already a hard task, and that's changing your habits. That's, because if you weren't raised to eat a certain type of way, like let's say you're trying to become vegan, if you weren't raised as a vegan, that's already a hard task in itself to change that habit. And then you add like other stuff on top of that that you don't want to do, just makes it harder. Like, find a way to exercise that you enjoy. You like playing sports? Join a community like flag football team or whatever, soccer team or whatever sport you like to play. A lot of, I don't know if this is the case like where you guys live, but here in Florida, a lot of the parks, they have like basketball courts, and the guys, they meet up certain days or whatever, and they play basketball. That could be a way that you work out. Like, it doesn't have to be going to the gym. It could be riding your bike. It could be anything else. So that's that. You don't have to eat breakfast. Another big one. If you're not, that's another, like, all of this is really about not forcing, like, breakfast is not the most important meal of the day, and it's not necessary. I would say plan whether you eat breakfast around your schedule. If you get up early in the morning, like, think about your food as fuel. So if you're up early in the morning naturally, then you're going to want to eat breakfast because you're going to want to fuel your body. You're going to need energy. But if you're somebody that works from home, or you really have a sedentary lifestyle, like you don't work from home, but you work in an office and you're sitting most of the time, you don't necessarily need to eat breakfast. And furthermore, you don't necessarily need to have 3 meals a day. Like, all of that stuff is based off of a very cookie cutter type lifestyle. Like, up at 6, go to work, drop the kids off, like very like, you know, typical type lifestyle. But if that is not your lifestyle, then you're not going to want to follow that diet. Like, tailor your diet to your personal lifestyle. Yeah, that's same thing for number 4. Your eating habits should match your lifestyle. Your food is your fuel. So, the amount of times you're eating per day has to match how active you are during the day, because it ties in with calorie intake. You don't want to eat a lot of food if you're sitting around all day. Like, that's going to make you put on the weight. And so for me personally, I had to, that was a big thing that I had to realize. Like, when I go through periods in my life where I'm not working, I'm just, vacationing, hopping around from one place to the next, my diet changes. I'm not as active, so my diet changes. I might eat one time for the day. I might get up early and I eat around 12 or 1, and I'm good for the rest of the day. When I'm working more, I might have breakfast, and then I might have lunch, and then I might be hungry again during dinner. Like, I might be snacking throughout the day. Like, I've learned to change my diet based on what my lifestyle is looking like. And so the consistency then is not really about breakfast, lunch, dinner, breakfast, lunch, dinner. It's more so being consistent with understanding, going along with your body, like going along with its natural processes rather than going against it. All right, so then number 5, just because it's hereditary doesn't mean it's inevitable. Eating habits are shared with your family, which is why it seems like things run in the family. Okay, so this one is about, this is another thing that I've had to learn. That whole, diabetes runs in my family, high blood pressure, depression, even anxiety, all of these things that tend to run in the family, and we feel like, it's inevitable. Like, because my family had this, I'm naturally going to have it too. And there's like this fear, like, it's out of my control. It is totally in your control. The whole reason why things seem like they're hereditary is because families tend to share the same diets. We tend to eat the same things, and we pass down that tradition throughout our whole lineage. Our grandmother passes it down to our mother, and she passes it down to us, and we feed that to our families, and that's why it seems like it's hereditary. But really, when it boils down to it, it's about the food that you're eating. And again, it seems like it's hereditary because food is passed down. from generation to generation. So if we change the foods that we're eating, then we can change the things that seem like they're hereditary and unchangeable or out of our control. Perfect example, every woman, everybody in my family has diabetes. I'm in my 30s. By the time my mom, I think, was in her early 20s, she was already diagnosed with diabetes, high blood pressure, all of that kind of stuff. I don't have any of that. I'm already in my 30s, and I don't plan to get any of that. Like, I'm right on the brink. Like, I'm not perfect in any sense, but I have managed to not make those, you know, those things forced onto me. Like, I've managed to have some sense of control over those things. I don't know why. Like, now my this is gonna be a funny joke, but now I know. Now I see why people tend to think that like weed that has like sticks and seeds in it is like lower grade, because it's annoying having to pick all that stuff out. But I like natural stuff. I like that there's sticks and stuff in this, and yeah, it's taken me a while to have to pick all of it out, but that means that it's natural and it's organic. I don't know how that nail ended up in there, but yeah. Anyway, yeah, so you don't have to feel like even cancer, even like that type of stuff, heart disease, all that kind of stuff that we feel like runs in our family. We have a sense of control over it, and how do we control that stuff? With our diet. Diet is key. Exercising is like that 50 pounds that I said that I've lost overall. I lost that mostly changing my diet and like working out a few times a week, very minimal, like not lifting weight, like walking, like just being active. And I was able to lose that weight. So it's not about the working out. Yes, that makes you lose the weight faster, but it's really about the diet. Diet is key. You can eat meat and still have a healthy lifestyle. Yes. Now, I want to talk about pork in this part of it, because not just pork, everything. For everything that you can Google, the negative effects, like negative effects of eating pork, negative effects of eating meat, negative effects of whatever, you can Google the same thing in reverse. Positive effects of eating pork, positive effects of eating meat, positive effects of whatever else. So I say all that to say there is two sides to every coin. There are positives and negatives to everything. The key is moderation. It's also how the food is being cooked. Now, pork is usually something that we're going to be frying. We don't usually boil pork, which is why it has this stigma of being something that is not healthy for us. But if you look up the benefits of pork meat in itself is probably going to be the most nutritional, the most lean, the better for your health. Like, in itself, pork is better for your health than any other meat. Better than chicken, better than beef, better than all that other stuff. It has a lot of benefits. The issue again is how we cook it. It's usually fried. Pork chops, we fry them. We smother them in all this salt and all this gravy and all this crazy stuff, right? For the Haitian people, griot, that's fried. Anytime we're eating pork, it's fried, unless it's like jerk pork. But usually, or I lied. Hispanic people, they like when they have big parties and they roast the pork and it's like on the grill. That's gonna be better for your health. But usually in the Black community, we're frying pork. So that's where that stigma comes from. Fried pork is not good for you. Fried anything is not good for you. That's what needs to be kept in moderation. If you're a meat eater and you're just feeling like you don't want to get rid of eating meat, get rid of the fried meat. And that's going to be a game changer for you. Because frying, it causes inflammation, and inflammation causes mucus, and mucus is what leads to heart disease and all that other kind of stuff, that all those other illnesses that come about. It all boils down to how we are cooking, how we're preparing our foods. Weight loss is a spiritual journey. This is kind of more metaphysical, like what I was talking about with the like being at the gym, and the energy that's floating around. I kind of look at weight loss as the same type of thing, like in conjunction or in like parallel to my weight loss journey. I've also been on a healing my inner child journey, for lack of a better term. Just getting myself to a better state of mind. And the more that I accomplish in that realm, the more weight that I lose. And it's almost like it's in unison. Like, I heal my physical energy, my spiritual energy, and the weight drops along with it. It's kind of like in tune with each other. And our food ties into that, because food is energy as well. So the energy of the person who prepared your food is crucial. The energy of, the animal, if you're eating meat. That's why people kind of stay away from the whole eating meat thing, because it's really hard to know what state of mind an animal was in before it was slaughtered, and what energy it was slaughtered in. Like, that's why tribes and like all that kind of stuff, like traditional, like Indians and traditional African tribes and all that kind of stuff, they had rituals for when they slaughtered their meat. That's because there's energy in that meat, and you go ahead and you eat it. Whatever energy that animal had, you're now consuming. So it is easier to just cut it all out to begin with, because again, when we go to the grocery store, we don't know where that meat came from. We don't even know if it's really meat. Like, there's just so many what ifs. There's so many unknowns, right? Unless you went out and caught it yourself and did your ritual and made sure that the animal died in a humane, peaceful way, and it wasn't scared and it wasn't afraid, and you weren't aggressive when you killed it. Like, you actually honored its life, and all that kind of stuff. That's really the only way that we should be eating meat, and that's kind of where it comes from. But just being mindful, like they're nowadays you can go organic, you can go to Whole Foods. A lot of the packaging says humanely sourced and all that kind of stuff. So there's a little bit of precaution on it, like a little bit of, but still you don't know. So I get why people are just like, I'm just gonna cut out the whole what if factor and just not even deal with meat at all. So I get it. But that would be the reason. It's not really for your health. It's more so for a spiritual thing. Because that energy, it really is it's real. Like, it's a real thing. Right. So next thing, different foods carry different energy. Yeah. The feeling of hunger is tied to a deep emotional need, which is love and care. Fulfill the need and the hunger goes away. So think of hunger as not for food, but for something deeper, a need that is deeper. And because we have been conditioned in a lot of different ways to mask I guess what I'm trying to say is, like, a perfect example is we felt love from our mother when she fed us. She made a home cooked meal, and that was her way of showing love. So a lot of times we feel love and we give love through the exchange of food. And so we attach that feeling and that emotion and that need with hunger. hunger is not really like it's not really most 9 times out of 10 like people will say like doctors will say when you feel hungry it's really because you're thirsty. Usually that could be it, or it's also because you are lacking something emotionally and you feel that with food. And I'm here to tell you, for the moment, you feel better, but the repercussions, the gaining the weight, and it's just a never ending vicious cycle. So, one of the ways that I learned this was I'd have a craving. I'd have cravings for like things that I ate in my childhood, especially when I'm on my, really on the ball and really like eating healthy, and I'm deciding like I don't want to eat meat anymore. And then I start craving all the things that my mom used to make me, or, you know, that I used to eat when I was a child. And I had to really connect with those emotions and realize like I'm craving this because what I'm really craving is that closeness, that feeling of love, that feeling of comfort, that feeling of familiarity, whatever it was that I felt as a child when I was eating those types of foods. I'm lacking that now, and so I'm feeling that craving for that particular thing. And the way that I kind of curbed that was instead of going to the fast food restaurant and buying a burger, I would cook my own burger at home. And then eventually, like 2 weeks would go by, and that craving, like I'm telling you, the cravings completely went away. Like I would have like crazy cravings for like burgers and fries and whatever. And instead of eating that stuff out on the street, I would make it at home, make a more like healthier version of it. And that craving would go away. And it got to the point where I was able to fast afterwards for weeks and months at a time because that craving I fed the craving rather than, because I've also gone through the other side of it, like feeling the craving and ignoring it, but it just builds up and then you end up binge eating, or you end up, doing something else that's not healthy for you. So I've gone through so many like lessons and cycles that I'm just realizing that's what works for me. So whenever I have those cravings, I make myself a burger. I cut up some potatoes and I make some French fries, and I, you know, put in the air fryer however I want it to be. Like if I want that certain texture or that certain taste, I season it up, you know, and that helps. It makes the cravings go away. And then, like I said, I was able to fast afterwards. So it's really tied to an emotional thing, and once that emotional thing is is met, once that emotional need is met, hunger goes away. Like I've even gotten to the point where my hunger itself like just disappeared. Like I would go through periods where I wasn't hungry, and that would be the times when I would fast and just honor that in my body and say, okay, well, I'm gonna maximize this. Like I'm not feeling hungry, time to fast, time to go on the juice cleanse, time to, maximize this. So, um, just kind of, your body will, don't go against it. Like, your body wants to do the right thing. You just have to be its ally and not its enemy. Um, and number 10, your weight is directly proportionate to the amount of stress you are storing. So pay attention to the scale so pay less attention to the scale and more attention to self-care. So that's another thing. The only time that I would look at the scale is to confirm to myself, like I know that I've been putting in the work in the self-care department. I know that I've been putting in the work in, like, keeping on top of the diet that I said I wanted to have for myself, or, and the scale is just to confirm the fact that I have been successful at keeping the stress off, at keeping my self care regimen up. Like it's just confirmation that it's working. Now, if I see that my weight is going up or it's not, going anywhere, that's a sign that I need to practice more self care, because they go hand in hand. Just like I was talking about earlier with the energy, like when you hold stuff in, emotions, store all that stuff in your body, it translates to weight. Your body weight is going to increase. All of that stuff is tied in. Like, it's not just about the food that you're consuming, it's about the energy, the people that you're consuming, the things you're watching on TV, the things you're listening to, the music, all of that, all the stuff that you take in, it adds to your physical weight, whether we believe that or not. So that's why sometimes you can, think that you're, work out till your heart is content, eat correctly, whatever, and you're not losing weight. It's because that emotional stuff you're not you're not taking care of. It's because you're forcing yourself to go to the gym when you know you don't like going to the gym, instead of just finding another way to exercise and still be healthy. It's when you're forcing yourself, or you're beating yourself up because you couldn't stay on that diet, rather than realizing that that diet is just not a fit for you. It's not in alignment with who you are. It's not in alignment with your schedule. Um, just there's a lot of things that tie into it that I don't think that we take into consideration. It's not just about working out. It's not just about changing your diet. They go hand in hand, and it's all one: mind, body, soul. You have to consider all aspects, not just focus on one and think that, oh, because, if I focus on this, you'll see results. But are they going to be consistent? No. You're going to go back to what we were talking about before. This is really the amount that I want in here, but that's fine. Some of these I think have a little bit too much in them, but as long as they'll be able to fit in the bottle, it should be fine. So yeah, all that, just being mindful that there's so many factors, and having grace with yourself too is also a big thing. So yeah, I also take supplements like fish oil, and I had to take it out of the bottle because this is easier. Like when I packed everything in and took it on the plane, I had to my multivitamins. So as far as supplements go, I take a multivitamin for adults. Sometimes I do the women's multivitamin, depending on what they have at the store and what's on sale. But I find that either works. So I do the multivitamin. I do a probiotic. I also do the Activia yogurt. I have that for breakfast every morning because I find that works for my body as far as bowel movements go. You're supposed to, if you eat every day, you should have a bowel movement every day. You should have a bowel movement in conjunction with the amount of times that you eat. And that kind of tells you how backed up or how not backed up your system is. So, fiber has been key. Probiotics, just making sure my gut health is on point. There's this one thing that I'm taking, like, this is new: ashwagandha and L-theanine. There's a reason why I picked this. I don't remember exactly what it was. But it says it helps with stress. And because I'm working a lot more now, I just thought it would be a good thing to add. So I kind of ran out for the week, so I need to refill that's what I'm doing right now. I'm refilling my little container. I'll show it to you guys when I'm finished. And I take the fish oil for my heart health, to kind of be proactive against the heart disease, the high blood pressure, all that kind of stuff. And I take vitamin C. Vitamin C is good for inflammation, and it's good to keep you healthy, especially with, the C word and all that. just keep you healthy overall. And as we were talking about earlier with the inflammation, it really helps with that. Yeah, I think there's supposed to be 2 of these. And at night, sometimes I take melatonin, which is a natural sleep aid, just so I can stay on point with like my bedtime and not be staying up late and all that kind of stuff. Like if I take it for like 8, by 10, I am like not able to keep my eyes open. So this is my little pill container. Has like the letters for the days of the week on it. And yeah, I keep it at my bedside. And I used to take it at night before bed, but now I've been like taking it in the morning. So I don't know, it just kind of fluctuates. I just kind of go with it. So yeah, that was the long-awaited things I've learned on my weight loss journey video. And if you're still here, thank you for watching. And I hope you gained something, learned something. And until next time, be well.